is Bob Iger speaking out. So you already know I went to go see Thunderbolts. I did give my review on top of, we talked about the box office and everything yesterday, so I don't need to recap that. If y'all are interested in checking that one out, you can just go over to my channel and look up the clips and all the other stuff. The clip is, that segment is there, separated from, I put it up and all that good stuff. So if you want to check that out, y'all can definitely get my full review on the movie and everything else that encompasses that. But he has been speaking out recently and basically said, he's pretty much pleased with Thunderbolts, and so am I, because I thought the movie was pretty good. And he's calling it the first and best example of a Marvel studio that is focused on quality instead of quantity, which I really feel like is what has caused a lot of divisiveness with the MCU post Endgame. That when Bob Chapek came in, his primary focus seemed to be more or less on Disney Plus and building Disney Plus. So there was, and then of course the pandemic and everything happened. So there was a lot of oversaturation regarding shows. A lot of the shows didn't really do what needed to be done. It just all felt forced and rushed and anticlimactic in a lot of ways in regards of like even the amount of shows that were greenlit. Like, I really do not feel, in regards of like some of the shows, that 6 episodes really gets you to understand the characters and you can really flesh out enough to get the show going, because it just felt like a lot of times with a lot of those shows, including like I did like Miss Marvel. With Kamala Khan. I'm trying to remember the other show. What was the other show with Oscar Isaac? I was really looking forward to that being a good show, but that just felt so rushed and anticlimactic. Like, it always feels like the ground gets going with the first episode. Second episode, yeah, it's like it's still cooking with gas. By the time we get to 3, 4, and 5, then it's like filler. And then y'all rush everything in 6. And I'm like, huh? And then so it just felt a lot of the shows felt a little anticlimactic when it came down to it. So Bob Iger has admitted that the company's film slate has struggled in post-pandemic times by focusing too much on quantity and not enough on quality. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe in particular hasn't restored its luster since the epic culmination of 2019 Avengers Endgame, and which I literally just said. There have been hits since COVID, like Deadpool and Wolverine, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I didn't pretty much like that one, but it was all right. But success has been wildly inconsistent as tempos like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I hated that movie. 30 minutes and I was just like, it was background noise to me. And then the Marvels, I did not think the Marvels was as bad as everybody made it out to be. I had a pretty fun time with the Marvels. I just felt like, it did feel like after a while when you watch it back that there's certain segments in the movie that I'm like, oh, you could have omitted that. Particularly the musical scene. I did not understand why they put that little musical dance number up in there. But other than that, the chemistry between all the different Marvel women, Miss Marvels, I actually particularly like the chemistry between them. And I just thought like some of the action sequences was pretty cool. But overall, the Marvels was just a mess. But I thoroughly enjoyed some of what I saw in the movie. So I saw the potential there. And then Captain America Brave New World, don't even get me started on that. I love me some Sam Wilson. I love me some Danny Ramirez. I love me some Harrison Ford. but they all felt like they were in different movies. And to me, when I watched Captain America Brave New World, it felt more like a Hulk sequel. And I'm talking about the one with Edward Norton. It felt more like a sequel to that Hulk than a Captain America movie with Sam Wilson. It should have been something completely wrapped around him and how he's navigating in a post world of Chris Evans. Damn, I just forgot the character he played in the movie. Well, he was the other Captain America, Steve Rogers. So in a post Steve Rogers world where you're taking up the mantle, they should have played more into how do I navigate through this world as the new Captain America. I'm not trying to be Steve Rogers. I'm not trying to, continue what he started. I'm trying to do my own thing in this world and being a superhero, especially when I don't have the super serum that he took. So how do I navigate through this world of corporate espionage and spies and that sort of thing? That's what they should have focused on. I don't know what all that extra stuff was up in there. I think they was having an identity crisis. I think they also was having like these Trumpian type of vibes that they wanted to go with, but they got scared and didn't really want to go there because they didn't want to hear the wokeness and all that other mess. The Trump support, the 35% that they feel like is the true voice of that is like the bigger voice of America, which y'all are not. Just because y'all loud don't mean you right. So I just felt like Captain America Brave New World did not know what it wanted to be, which is why that movie didn't really do that good. So now they said that Iger views Thunderbolts, which debuted last week at 76 million, as the first and best example of the studio's new priority to make better movies, even if that means there are fewer of them. And here's the thing. When it came to them making the 76 million, I've heard some people say, oh, it's a flop. First of all, Thunderbolts has a lot cut out for them because a lot of people don't know what this movie aren't really familiar with the whole Thunderbolts thing. You bring a bunch of second-rate superheroes, which they do acknowledge, into a thing and making them sort of like these extraordinary new superheroes that are the underdogs. And I like the idea that they're going for, we are the underdog type character, rather than making them sort of like, oh yeah, we're these badasses like an Iron Man or a Captain America or the Incredible Hulk or Black Widow, the other one. I'm talking about Scarlett Johansson, not Yelena. So when you see like these second rate, it kind of makes us as people who are viewers relate to them more because they are the underdogs. They're seen as losers. But when the shit hits the fan and push comes to shove, they're willing to step up to the plate and do things that everybody else ordinarily wouldn't do. So I love the direction they're going in with the whole Thunderbolts. And I think that's the approach you have to take, especially because people are kind of like looking at the MCU as sort of like, you know what, you guys were on top at one point, and I feel like y'all bit off more than you can chew. And now you really have to work at trying to get those fans to come back. So I've been hearing people say since Thunderbolts is one of the first films post Endgame, and like I said, putting Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, putting Spider-Man No Way Home, and putting Deadpool and Wolverine aside when you're trying to reboot the franchise and get us in the next direction. Because I know they tried to do that with Shang-Chi, which was a good movie, and they tried to do it with the Eternals, which I thought had good moments, but it was too long and a lot of people didn't really like it. Now I feel like because of Thunderbolts, they're figuring out where they want to go. They're cooking with gas. We're getting Fantastic Four, which I'm hoping and praying does not suck, because all the other ones, the ones with Jessica Alba and Ian Griffith were mid. And don't even get me started on the one with Michael B. Jordan. That one started out as good, but then I don't know what the hell happened halfway through making that movie. And so, I like the fact that they're going in this direction. So we're getting Fantastic Four, and then we're supposed to be getting Doomsday, and then we're supposed to get the next Spider-Man movie. And then we're supposed to get, which I'm hearing is a prequel. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that's what I'm hearing. So take that with a grain of salt until it's confirmed. And then we're supposed to get Secret Wars. And then hopefully X-Men is going to be branching out, because we are getting X-Men in the Doomsday world. But hopefully this spins off a thing where we're actually going to get some finally X-Men, because it's been too damn long since we've gotten an X-Men movie. So it's about that time, in my opinion. But the question I'm trying to get to with the 76 million, I've been hearing people say that, oh yeah, we're officially back, baby, and all this other, we're back, we're officially back, and I'm like, let's slow our roll. Don't put the cart before the horse just yet. I just want to see how everything else is. Let's see how Fantastic Four does. And I'm all here for the less the better, because all we're getting this year, I think the next the next and final MCU movie we're getting is Fantastic Four. I don't think anything else comes after that. So I'm looking forward to it being just like, okay, every maybe 3 months or every 4 months you drop a MCU movie and then we keep it moving. Like, we don't need like 5 freaking MCU movies, because then I do agree, I will feel overwhelmed. And then there comes a point where, like before, and I know people was mad about it, but it was like, it's a fact. I did not want to feel like I was doing homework when I was watching these movies. And I felt like that's what was happening. Now, in the beginning, when it was phase 1, 2, and 3, it didn't feel like homework. It felt like, okay, they could, even if you didn't see Loki season 1 or the other show that was on ABC with Agent Coulson and all of them, even if you didn't watch those other shows, they would mention a little sentence and stuff in, the Avengers, and you felt like you were caught up. You felt like you knew what was going on, even though you didn't specifically or physically watch it during that season. They would just make a mention of something, and it's like, okay, I got you. Now it got to a point where Bob Chapek was creating trying to do what he was doing with Disney Plus and investing too much in Disney Plus and less in the other movies, that it felt like to me that he was basically, um, damn, I lost my train of thought because I heard a noise. But it just felt like, to me, that it felt more like homework, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Where, oh, well, I had to watch this show. I had to watch WandaVision in order to know what the hell was going on in the last Doctor Strange movie. And I feel like that was homework for people, and people who didn't see it, then it was like, okay, I'm completely lost, because that's what it felt like. Literally, Doctor Strange felt like an episode of WandaVision, just expanded and put on the big screen in those sort of situations. So yeah, if you didn't see it, and I had a roommate who's not even American, who basically was like, he didn't like WandaVision because he didn't understand the overall themes, where like she was living in this bubble, this world that she created that was based off of American sitcoms and things of that nature. And if you're not an American, you don't get those nuances. So it did kind of throw people off. It did feel like homework. And I know that, and one of the things I hate when people do, that condescending attitude is, well, if you don't, if then you're an idiot, you're stupid if you don't get. It's like, no, nobody has time to sit around here and watch five TV shows on Disney Plus that are okay, that are not like worth spending, me spending 8 hours watching, or 6 hours, and then having to go spend $30 on a movie to know what the hell's going on. Like, anybody got time for that? So that's what people need to keep in mind. So I hate that condescending thing, because you have time to do something and then you get mad at other people for not being able to do it. But anyway, let me get back to this thing, because when it comes to the MCU, I always feel like I got to break so much stuff down before, as it's pertaining to the topic. So then he also went on to say, we all know that in our zeal to flood our streaming platform with more content, that we turn to all of our creative engines, including Marvel, and had them produce a lot more. This is what Iger said during Wednesday's investor call, saying, quote, we've also learned that over time. I don't know if he said over time twice, or if it was a glitch in the writing matrix. But he says, we've also learned over time that quantity does not necessarily budget quality. And frankly, we've all admitted to ourselves that we lost a little focus by making too much. By consolidating a bit and having Marvel focus much more on their films, we believe that will result in better quality. I think the first and best example is Thunderbolts. Feel very good about that. Now, Thunderbolts, which centers on lesser known heroes compared to Captain America and Thor, started slower than most Marvel installments, but analysts believe it'll hold steady at the box office because critics and audience embrace the film, which boasts an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes and encouraging an A- grade on CinemaScore exit polls. It appears to be a step in the right direction after a string of dismally reviewed films like Captain America: Brave New World, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, and The Marvels. Disney is also stroking interest in Thunderbolts, asterisk. They got that up there, by revealing the meaning behind the asterisk in the film's title. The ragtag group at the helm to henceforth be known as they spoiled, because it's not me, so don't get mad. They revealed the New Avengers, and they even showed Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes putting the New Avengers stickers over the Thunderbolts thing, which I thought was dumb on their part. Because even when I said in my story, in the topic when I talked about Thunderbolts yesterday, how do you do this clever job of marketing your movie where it's like, we get to see all these cool things in the trailer, which got us interested in seeing the movie, and then the reviews and all the other stuff came out as great, and you did a really great job stitching together all the little trailers that y'all put out. They put out like 4 or 5 trailers, but then after opening weekend, you spoil one of the biggest things in the damn film. Like, why would y'all do that? Like, it just means like you just pissed away all the marketing that you put into your film, because you thought after 3 days of being in the theater, let's just reveal that they're the New Avengers. But I'm glad they didn't reveal how they become the New Avengers. But the fact of y'all knowing that that's who they are, I just thought was dumb. And I'm hoping they'll add more to the New Avengers, like Shang-Chi and a bunch of others. Because Shang-Chi 2, where the hell is that movie? That's what I want to know. So he also went on to say, I was like, wait, where's the article? Oh, okay. They also said they'll make an appearance in 2026 Avengers Doomsday. Well, if you saw like the post credits, scene, you kind of pretty much, I think that pretty much states that they will make an appearance in Doomsday based off of how they set everything up. Now, Disney has long been the dominant studio at the box office. However, it has failed in recent years to match its own stratospheric standards, at least commercially. But Iger believes the company's next 18 months will resemble 2019, a banner period for the Magic Kingdom. So he's trying to get everything on track. I'm glad that he's getting everything on track. Now, in regards of, he said that he's confident in the upcoming slate that they have. So they have Lilo and Stitch coming out. I think that's coming out. Is that this week or next week? I know Lilo and Stitch is coming. Oh wait, Lilo and Stitch I think comes out the same time as Mission Impossible, so that's the same week. I think that's Memorial Day weekend. But anyway, so they have that. They've got Zootopia 2, Fantastic Four: The First Steps, Avatar: Fire and Ash, and those are the movies that's all coming out this year. Now next year they have The Mandalorian, Grogu, Avengers: Doomsday, and Toy Story 5. So that's basically what they have. And if it's not necessary, I keep forgetting that Disney owns a lot of IPs, so they don't necessarily have to focus on, we've got to put out 5 or 6 MCU movies, Disney stuff. They also have, don't they also own 20th Century Films or whatever it's called, because it used to be called 20th Century Fox, but now that Fox is gone anymore, now it's 20th Century, I think 20th Century Films, and then where they can just go into the IPs, and we could put out an Alien movie, we could put out a Predator movie. I think they're working on an Alien and Predator movie with David Trachtenberg and Fede Alvarez. I think they're working on a little something something, and there's little Easter eggs if you see in the new Predator Badlands movie that we do see Wayland Wutani stuff interjected in that movie, in the new Predator movie. So I think they are working on like a little crossover situation. Hopefully it'll be better than the other Alien versus Predator tries, but we'll see. So I'm glad that Bob Iger is speaking out about this. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the what they've got going on with the upcoming MCU, because I am a fan of the MCU. I'm a fan of some of the stuff, even though they've kind of just chipped away at my expectations. I'm still rooting for y'all to get the success, because Thunderbirds, that's something else. Thunderbolts is a really good movie. I implore you all to go check it out. I had a friend earlier that said, "Oh no, well, I'm in this time of sinners, I'm gonna go wait until Thunderbolts comes out on streaming." I'm like, what? No, Thunderbolts needs to be seen on a big screen. So, and I've seen Sinners twice, so there's room for both. Like, I feel like I'm going to be at the movies a lot this summer, because 2025, definitely there's a lot of movies that's coming out this year that they all look pretty good, and I want to see them on a big screen. I don't want to wait for, streaming however long it's going to take. And who knows, Thunderbolts might not even get to come on streaming. I think they're probably not going to, I don't think they follow that 45-day rule that all the other networks or studios have been following. I think we might get Thunderbolts probably in freaking August. And who wants to wait that damn long? So that's all I got to say on that. So I want to definitely hear from y'all. What do y'all think of this whole thing about what Bob Iger had to say about Thunderbolts and the upcoming MCU and what they're working on, and quality instead of quantity? And because I do agree with all of that. And I'm glad that, yes, the boss is finally saying what I've been saying for the longest, in regards, like, yeah, I just feel like y'all put out way too much. You're not focusing. I think Kevin Feige was stretched a little too thin. I even heard that there was a story, and I think it was other stories that they mentioned, that, yeah, they had to track, because Kevin Feige would kind of like close the blinds and go into hiding when I guess he was overwhelmed or whatever. They would literally have to track him down in the hallway to be like, okay, so this is what we got so far. Like, what do you think? So Kevin Feige was overwhelmed. There was a lot going on. I'm glad they're cutting down a lot. They're downsizing a little bit, so that way he'd be able to do his job and make sure that everything is up to par before they put it out. But it kind of makes me wonder also, so what's going on with other stuff that y'all had planned in the past? Like, what's going on with Blade? What's going on with Shang-Chi too? Like, what's happening with Doctor Strange, sorry, Doctor Strange 3. Like, what's happening with those films and stuff? You announced Blade like damn near a decade ago. We still don't know what the hell's going on with that movie. So are you putting that out on the side, or should you put that somewhere else? Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with that, but I want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are in this story in the comments down below.